Okay, again, for all of you who have just come on board, thank you. We're going to be talking about Sitka Life Insurance Company of America, offering a product from age 0 to 85 on a guaranteed issue basis, and oftentimes first day coverage. Joining us today is Fred Taberry. He is our National Sales Director. He is full of tidbits, information, and probably one of the nicest gentlemen in the insurance industry today. I'll look for that check in the mail, Fred, soon. Who am I? My name is Joe Rasich. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of Visionary Inc. I know that I sound really, really young, and you're probably going to wonder, how can somebody so young know so much about this industry? Well, at age 72, I have been around. So what are we going to cover today? We're going to talk about the new kid on the block. Now, we're about to reach our 1 year of marketing Sitka. Okay, they are a B double plus AM Best company. Who is Allegiant Wealth Group? I'm going to briefly discuss who they are because you'll probably hear about them and from them. Who is Visionary Inc? I'm the Chief Marketing Officer, but maybe you never heard of Visionary Inc. We're going to talk about two products that Sitka has, and they have a third on the way. I'm going to talk about the opportunity for you to actually have 50 different underwriters in your computer vetting for your business. We're going to talk about how Sitka does business, face-to-face or over the phone, what we call telesales. We're going to talk about really quickly steps to contracting. And I'm going to briefly talk about how you can very inexpensively generate leads to the point of like 25 cents a lead. We're also going to talk about a lead generating company that you can work with that actually produces impairment leads. So that's pretty exciting. So before I go any further, and I always forget to tell you this, as I go through this presentation, there is a question and chat section available to you in your menu. So if I say something that you need me to clarify or you have a question, please type it in and I will absolutely attempt to answer them all. If not, I get a report of them and I will be more than happy to answer your questions by email sometime today. Okay, let's talk about Citizens. Citizens Life is a holding company. They have 3 companies underneath them, one of which is Sitka Life of America, which holds the paper on the superior choice product that we're going to talk about. Who is Allegiant Wealth Group? They have the exclusive agreement to market superior choice products all over the country. Now, Visionary, we are one of 5 national marketing organizations in the country to have the ability to recruit agents to this program. Visionary, we are, again, a national marketing company bringing unique products and services to insurance agents across America. Now, as I mentioned, I've been in this business for over 40 years. I've seen it all, particularly focused right now on final expense, but in the past we did everything. Again, I started a company called Brokers Alliance back in 1980. Actually started it in the basement of my house, grew it to a national marketing organization, and in 2010 turned it over to my son David, who's doing a great job. By the way, after retiring, I went out to go play golf and fish. Well, fishing is okay, but the more golf I played, the worse I got. So I decided to get back in the insurance business in a boutique manner. So we are not going to offer all 40 different products and term and whole life and all that stuff. We're concentrating on final expense and our anchor product is Sitka. Okay, we're going to talk about underwriting because that's really, really important and why Sitka is so good. First of all, they do not have a height and weight requirement. All right. So anybody who likes to think about marketing, which I do all the time, go plant yourself in front of a weight loss office and hand out brochures. You might find some prospects there. They don't ask a tobacco question, so there's not going to ask you if you use tobacco of any sort. It doesn't exist. There's no MIB. They do want physician information. I say it's required. We're going to go over and talk about a copy of the application and how quick it is to complete an application. With Sitka, applications are online only, or telesales. There is no paper application. Also, there's no policy fee and no modal factors. So let's talk about superior choice standard, because again, this is what's exciting. So from this issue ages 0 to 50, you could get up to $30,000 of life insurance. 51 to 70, you could get up to 20,000, and 71 to 85, 10,000 with immediate coverage. And riders are terminal illness and dismemberment. And I will quickly go over dismemberment as well. And there's an optional paid rider. I love the agents who put this on because it doubles the death benefit if they're die in an accident, and it's only $5. So again, the maximum accelerated benefit if they have a terminal illness benefit payment equals $15,000. They do have the accidental death, again, for $5 per month, regardless of the face amount. And they have the dismemberment benefit. So what is the dismemberment benefit for those of you who might not be in this marketplace? Accidental dismemberment benefit. So again, if you lose a couple of eyes, a couple of hands, a couple of feet, again, I used to always say if you're on a trolley car in San Francisco at 12:01, then the policy goes into effect. But these are situations that occur, and if that happens, you can get 33% of the death benefit. So this is, as of today, and as far as my brain can handle, this is the only final expense product offering guaranteed issue whole life from starting at age 0 to age 85. Guaranteed issue. No one can get denied. So there's a lot of common health conditions that with Sitka, you can actually qualify for first day coverage. And again, as I mentioned in the tidbits, that often other carriers will decline it or offer a graded death benefit plan. So since there are two plans, first day coverage and guaranteed issue, graded for 2 years, how do I know which one they will qualify for? So let's check this out. Here are some of the common conditions that you can either get. We know it's going to be guaranteed issue, or we know they have an opportunity to get first day coverage. So if you take a look at cardiomyopathy, as long as they're being treated by a physician, you could get first day coverage. Congestive heart failure, again, serious condition, but Sitka, as long as they're being treated by a physician, taking their medication, either or, they can get standard, which is first day coverage. So you are going to get the agent guide. All of these conditions are in that agent guide. So let's just take a couple of look, like diabetic coma. If they were in a coma, they can still get coverage. It's just going to be guaranteed issue. What if they're on dialysis, right? Kidney dialysis, renal failure, kidney failure, they can get first day coverage. Again, this is what separates Sitka from the other final expense carriers. Now, as I said in the tidbits, you're not buying this because of price, right? It's not necessarily going to be the cheapest on the street because Sitka's smart. They price this for these conditions, okay? So as I said, you always want to do the right thing for your carrier. You don't want to just run to a guaranteed issue carrier like American General or Gerber, because there's a good chance and a good opportunity for Sitka to offer first day coverage, as well as they do have a guaranteed issue product. Obesity, standard. There is no height or weight, okay? Kidney failure, again, standard. Insulin use, only if diabetes is under control. All right, so you can get standard coverage for that. Sickle cell anemia, standard. So again, this is for agents use only, not for public use. Let's go over these health questions because this is very important. And if you answer all of these questions no, for the most part, you're going to get a standard policy. If you answer yes to this, or they happen to find a person who maybe not under control with their diabetes, possibly, or they're not taking their medication. They have diabetes, but they're not taking their medication. That's not a good thing, right? So are you currently hospitalized, confined to a bed or nursing facility, residing in an assisted living facility, received hospice care? Do you have any personal or physical or mental impairment for which you need to receive assistance or supervision in performing normal activities of daily living, unable to care for yourself or terminally ill? Just if you answer that yes, keep moving. If you answer it no, keep answering the questions, but you're going to get a guaranteed issue policy from ages 0 to 85. So there's the HIV question, which is normal. Have you been diagnosed by a licensed member of the medical profession with one or more, not one, with more than one occurrence of any cancer, a reoccurrence of cancer, metastasis of any cancer? Metastasis, did it spread to another organ? Or are you currently being treated for cancer, excluding basal cell, squamous cell skin cancer? Pretty easy. And again, it's so fast on the portal. This is the trickiest question that they have, and you have to just read it carefully, and that's why I'm going over it. And by the way, thank you again for all of you who are signing up. This is our second highest attendance since we started. So again, I appreciate you joining us today. So they're going to go back 10 years. Have you been medically diagnosed for which you have not been treated? Okay. So you can have these conditions that I'm going to go over. And as long as you're being treated by a medical professional taking medication for that condition, you have a really good chance of getting first day coverage. So uncontrolled diabetes, uncontrolled high blood pressure, stroke, paralysis, congestive heart failure, which I'm going to show you a little example in a few minutes, heart disease, cardiomyopathy, lung disease, including chronic obstructive pulmonary disease or emphysema. Now, what if I have COPD, which means I'm having a hard time breathing, I'm using oxygen, and I smoke? Well, is there a smoker question? No, there's no smoker question. So as long as you're being treated by a doctor, taking some medication, you should be okay. Liver cirrhosis or failure, kidney renal failure, insufficiency, that's your dialysis. Right here, chronic end of stage kidney disease, including dialysis. So again, you could answer that question no, you're going to get a good chance of first day coverage. Have you ever been medically diagnosed? Ever? Okay. Treated by a licensed member of the medical profession, taking medication for a mental disorder. So that's a tricky one, but if you're taking medication for a mental disorder, then you have to answer that yes. Now, other carriers may give you a decline, but this one, at least you'll get the guaranteed issue. Disorder of the brain or nervous system, lupus, okay, Alzheimer's disease, dementia, brain disease. Again, Lou Gehrig's disease. If you answer yes to these questions, then you get a policy. It's guaranteed issue. In the past 2 years, have you been hospitalized 2 or more times, right? In the past 2 years, have you been hospitalized? Now, that's not going for outpatient treatment. That means you've been admitted to the hospital 2 or more times in the last 2 years. If you haven't, well, you say no, and you can move on to possibly a first day coverage policy. Again, we've only been marketing this since probably November of 2023. 2024 is upon us, almost a year. This is one of the products that has taken off across the country. Again, I say it is the best final expense product in the marketplace today for a lot of reasons. Within the last 2 years, we've been treated for or been advised by a licensed medical professional to have treatment for alcohol, drugs, opioid, or controlled substance abuse, pled guilty, or been convicted of a felony or misdemeanor for any reason, or attempted suicide within the last 2 years. What if it's 2 years and 1 day? Answer that question, no. And when we talk about organ transplants, if it's within 5 years, it's a guaranteed issue product. If it's over 5 years, it's first day coverage. Why is that? Because statistically, there's a lot of problems that could happen within the first 5 years of an organ transplant. Could be rejected. Typically, after 5 years, if they've gone without any problems, then it's probably adhered and it's going to be normal life expectancy for them. If while you're taking the application, you say yes to any of these questions, it's going to revert from the standard first day coverage directly to the guaranteed issue, which now you can quickly requote and find that threshold for what that client can afford. Again, this is, as I said, final expense is the second fastest growing segment in the industry today. There's like 117 million seniors that can qualify for a final expense product. So let's jump over real quick to the guaranteed issue. Graded return of premium is 10%. So they do offer a little bit more coverage up to age 70. So you can get up to 30,000 up to age 70. A lot of carriers will lock you in at 25,000 or less. And at 71 to 85 is still 10,000. If they die within the first 2 years, 110% premium paid for first 2 years. Now, that accidental death, that under the standard policy, you got to pay $5 extra. It's included in this. So anybody who gets a guaranteed issue policy typically can have $60,000 of coverage in the event that they died in an accident, and that's automatic. One thing I like about this company is that they let you know they've got non-forfeiture options. It's funny, I talked to a carrier the other day and the guy didn't even know what a non-forfeiture was. But let's say at the end of 10 years, this gentleman wants to quit paying on his policy for whatever reason, just giving you an example. So he's 53 years old. He's now 63, 10 years later. And he says, well, I want to quit. What are my options? Well, he could get a check for $2,500, or he can get $5,175 of coverage, which is a third of basically what he had, and never pay another premium after that. So he's done paying premiums, and he's got $5,175 of life insurance for the life of the policy. Or he can keep the $15,000 for 13 years, 246 days. Again, no more premium payment. So he was 53 when he bought it. He was 63. So when he's 76, he'll lose coverage. What's life expectancy according to Social Security? It's about 74 years old. So in this case, there's a good chance his beneficiaries could collect. But this is a selling point, ladies and gentlemen. Other carriers don't do this. CICA does. I talked to you about doing the right thing for your client, and I'm going to give you a quick example of why I'm going to promote. There's a couple reasons why I want to promote it, but there's a couple reasons why you should consider what I'm going to talk about next. So I talked about there's an underwriter in my computer and cell phone, actually, 50 or 60 of them, all stuck inside your computer or cell phone, ready to vet your client to try to find if they can give you the best offer. Think about this. You pay for leads, it's a lot of times they're expensive, and you sit there and you wait for a lead to come in, and you get a lead. Oh man, you're happy, right? I got a lead. I'm going to make some money. And you find out that the guy is 60 years old and he smokes. Okay. Who's going to take a 60-year-old who smokes? Not only that, he's a little bit on the plump side. So he's 5'10" and weighs 300 pounds. So what do you normally have to do? I got to go through all my underwriting guidelines, right? All right, what's the height and weight here? Will they take it? Is it standard? Is it graded? Is it guaranteed issue? Right? You have all of these things to try to figure out. Or you can call your upline and then give them that question and wait a couple of days for an answer. As you're talking to him, he tells you that he's had congestive heart failure 5 years ago. Oh boy, right? So it's easy to think, well, I'm going to write a graded guaranteed issue, right? I got a sale, I'm going to do it. But have you done the right thing for your client? If you haven't, there's a good chance that you can do better. So how do you know? So I talk about Best Plan Pro. They find that needle in a haystack. They have those 60 underwriters. They have all the underwriting guidelines. They have all the different medications that companies want or don't want. So find the best plan for your client. All right, so I'm going to just give you an example of this very quickly. I know you're all busy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter, I'm going to use age 62. I'm going to pick on, let me see, height and weight, right? So you could put in 4 foot, 600 pounds, and you're going to get a quote from CICA, okay? So I'm going to just say, in this case, 5'6", 135. And we have a female, and they smoke, okay? COPD, I did an analysis to find out how many, 33% of the people who've been told that they have COPD, chronic obstructive coronary disease, right, still smoke, right? So within 12 months they've been smoking. We're going to go final expense in the beautiful state of Arizona, and we're going to say $15,000 of coverage. And here I could get a quote right now, right? Quotes are a dime a dozen. You could get a quote anywhere, right? So in this case, we want to be able to find the best possible. So you saw that list. What if they had HIV/AIDS? You're just going to go to guaranteed issue. Cut through the mustard, go to guaranteed issue. But if they have a health condition that you're not sure of, make sure you do the best for your client. So here, quote with an underwriting profile. Here's where these underwriters are going to go at it. So we're going to add a condition. We're going to say CHF. Oh, I'm sorry. Which is congestive heart failure, and it's lifelong. It's not like you had a heart attack and they got you 5 years ago and everything's back to normal, right? So it wasn't a permanent condition. It was an episode. They got it fixed. In this case, you're not going to get better, basically. So we're going to say 5 years ago. And we're going to show, what's really cool is that medications, right? So here are a list of the most prevalent medications used for people who have congestive heart failure. Now, most of these people will know, so we're just going to pick one. We're going to pick nitroglycerin, which, if you watch these spy movies, you think that's used to blowing up buildings. All right, so we'll just leave it at that. So we have a female who's still smoking, who with congestive heart failure. Now, think about this, ladies and gentlemen. How long is it going to take you to find that needle in the haystack if you got to run through all of your underwriting guidelines? You got to go call your upline, who is going to go through all of their underwriting guidelines unless they own BPP. So we're going to save and close this, and we're going to run a quote. This may take up to 60 seconds. I've timed this a million times. 30 seconds or less, typically, I'm going to get a quote. So I'm sure all of you were there with your stopwatches and you're looking, you're going to say, okay, race itch. Let's see if you're, oh, lo and behold, Sitka Life for this particular individual. Now, look how fast that took, right? So garbage in, garbage out. Ask your client to give you all of the medications, all of the conditions that they've had. Because, as you know, Big Brother now can find out. And you must tell those clients, let them know that Big Brother is going to watch. So give me all of the information. We will find you a policy. So in this case, Sitka you were able to write this case for $77.77. Now, there's other carriers that do, Royal Arcanum, SBLI, Transamerica, but you've got a good price here with Sitka. How's that look? Okay. Get this out of the way. There's two ways to write this policy. You can be face-to-face with your client for those of you who work locally. I'm going to talk about working locally too in a little bit. And those of you who buy leads and you've got 20 different non-resident licenses and you're buying leads all over the place, face-to-face, you're there with your client with your phone, with your iPad, with your laptop computer, or they're in your office and you're in front of the computer. You could just take the application. It's really simple. Or you need to, oops, come on, Joe. There we go. Or you need to record the conversation because you live in Arizona and your client lives in Tennessee. Okay. So there you go. You can, or Kentucky, let's say Kentucky. You can call them up with a telesale, but you have to record the conversation. Now, you may have ability to record the conversation. If you don't, what I found is CR Lite. You can download that for free onto your computer, and it is the slickest, easiest, fastest way to record the conversation. And again, we give you all of the scripts, what exactly to say, how to say it. They even allow you now, when you're doing it, is to call a number and they'll do all the HIPAA verification for you. So again, Sitka is a great company, easy to work with, and does right by their client. Now, some of you, I'm not that proficient, I must admit. At 72 years old, I could do some technology. But if you like to just carry your cell phone around, you could record my call. It's called Record My Call. You could download that onto your iPhone. Now, a lot of you don't use iPhone. I'm sure you can download a recording device on there. So again, this is just some simple help information. So a lot of you have already gotten our advertisement, that's why you're here today. And if you didn't, you should have, and we will send us, let's get started. In that case, most of you have requested a contract, so you don't have to do that again. But we're going to send you the commission level, request a quote. We're going to send you the most current September 1st agent guide, the state approval list, that common health condition sheet that I went over. You're going to have that. We're going to even send you a copy of the sample policies for all of you people who have insomnia and you can't sleep at night. So I guarantee you, right? This is free. I'm not going to charge you for it. Instead of going out and buying a sleeping pill, go ahead and start reading the inside of a life insurance policy. And I'll say probably 5 minutes, you'll be out. Steps to contracting, it's through CIRCON. All right. So CICA and CIRCON work together to make getting contracted easy. So Vertifor, CIRCON, I don't know who's what or who owns who, but it reduces compliance risk through a more efficient producer advisor cycle. So when you request a contract, I hate this, I must admit it, they send an email. Now we're going to remind you, we're going to send an email as soon as you request a contract, and we're going to put you in, you're going to get an email. And where does it come from? It comes from do not reply at vertifor.com. Stupid? Yes. Because if I saw that, right, and not knowing where it came from, I'd probably delete it. But we're going to send you what to look for, all right, and how to find it if you can't find it. So again, that's what we're going to do. You're going to, after that, once you've completed it, you're going to get a greeting email, all right, and that is where you're going to complete the contract. Then you're going to get an approval. So I'm going to go over that. So here's kind of what you're going to see. All right. This is how you get started by completing your contracting information. Have your E&O ready. Once you're approved, you're going to get a greeting email. And that's going to come from cti@citizensinc.com. Again, we're letting you know this. I know you guys are getting inundated by a lot of stuff. We're going to try to make this seamless for you. So we are excited. So again, you're going to have that dashboard. When you get this letter, that means you've been approved. You're going to get a user ID number. It's going to start with 725, and you're going to get a temporary password. That allows you to click this button on and go right to CICA website, of which, when you get started, you're going to have to complete their AML training. Well, I already did AML training. I know. They want their own. It takes 5 minutes, if that, to go ahead and do their AML training. There's a little bitty box that you need to click, and it goes from there, right? So you request a contract, you're going to get an email from do not reply to Vertifor. You complete it all by get started. And then once approved, it's going to come from here, and you can go ahead and get registered in the webinar or in the portal. I have created some Academy Award-winning videos for you. I know. If you could vote, I want you to remember me and vote for my videos. So you're gonna, when you request a contract, we're gonna tell you, send you a little quick video, right? People like to see things, they don't necessarily like to read things. Then once appointed, how do you register? How do you do a quote? How do you prepare for telesales? All of these are done for you. Okay, so you could go through them, and again, get some popcorn, get a soft drink, whatever, and have at it. How do you quote to take an application? Well, on page 15, 16, and 17 of the agent guide, wow, I'm kind of anal on this stuff, aren't I? Oh, right there, 15, 16, and 17. Look at this. See? You can quote yourself, right? There's rates for the first day coverage, rates for the guaranteed issue. There is no policy fee. There is no modal factor. They want 10,000 times by 10. All right, divide by 12 monthly. Divide by 2 semi-annual. Simple as that. So I'm going to show you the agent guide real quick, hopefully. If you have this on your computer, do you want to look for something? Just, what I do is, and let me say that, I've been in this business longer than I want to admit, over 40 years. Started Brokers Alliance back when I was wet behind the ears. 1981, I believe it was. So I've seen agent guides. This is done very, very well. Okay. And they give you a table of contents, which is an improvement over what they had before. So if I want to find something, right? Well, how do you pay commissions? Well, you could call somebody up, wait for it, or just hit Control F on your computer and type in commission. Well, look at, there's 37 times they're going to bring up commission in here. So, you want to find it, there you go, commissions, right? They're going to tell you how to find commissions, right? They use that word a lot, don't they? I think Becca Berry had something to do with this. So let's just say that, welcome, by the way, Becca. Glad you joined us. Let's just say you have a client who has diabetes, right? And it's on your laptop, on your computer. Go ahead and find it. There it is, diabetes. And it's in there twice. So insulin use, you could have an insulin-dependent diabetic. It's under control. You get a standard issue. Okay? How's that? That's just a little tidbit. Uh-oh. I think I just erased. I did. Okay, time out. Only I could do this, ladies and gentlemen. All right. That wasn't too bad, was it? I always do something along the line here. Let me go find out where I'm at. Okay, back to normal. Thank you for that little. All right, here's where CICA is not approved. All right, currently are not approved. I have been promised that other states will come on board. They'll never be in New York. However, as I said in my tidbits, if you were joining me early, if you have a non-resident New York license, okay, and your client, you have a New York client who happens to have a cousin who they're visiting in Florida, and you have a non-resident Florida license. Now they live in New York, but they have you have a non-resident Florida license, and they're visiting their cousin. You can write them, because it's not where the address is, it's where they are physically located at the time you take the application. Now, other carriers can do that too, but they make you sign papers and all that other stuff. They don't do that here, okay? So the state, as long as they're in a state that's approved by CICA. Now, California's not approved yet, but maybe you have a Arizona, you live in Kentucky, and you have a client in California, and they're visiting their friend, or they're vacationing in Arizona. You can write them. That's big. Now, we talked about, that there's an underwriter in your computer. You can do it you could do the quotes on your cell phone. There is a cost to it. So monthly is $26.50 a month, tax deductible, or you can pay annually $300. And you get software that is worth tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. The work and time that they've put in to put this together, you couldn't do it. So for $26.50, I compare this to, and I used to do it all the time when I used to go sell. I'd be in between appointments, I'm hungry, I'd stop at McDonald's. You can't get out of McDonald's, right? Let's say I did it once a week. I can't get out of McDonald's for less than $10, right? For a meal. So at $10, I spent $40 for that month for McDonald's. Did I make any money? Was it tax deductible? No. So if you're in the business to sell life insurance, you can get this program. Plus, if you do that, we offer bonuses. Okay, so we offer other products other than Sitka. All right. So if you do that, then we're going to send you the schedule that allows you to get bonuses. Okay. Why? Because we don't have to do the work. You don't have to call me up and say, hey, I got this guy, he's got this, got that. You can just do it yourself. That's saving us time. That's saving you time. And we pay you bonus commissions if you happen to write an Aetna policy or an SBLI policy or American General policy or a Gerber policy, whatever it may be. If you own it, we're going to bonus you. I figured it out, ladies and gentlemen. If you wrote one case for $33 a month at, I think I use 75% commission, which is right, pretty low, that pays for it for the whole year. So just keep that in mind. Okay, how to generate sale opportunities. And I always say marketing is a key. So I'm working with somebody right now who's building a lead-based life insurance lead program, Paul, based on health conditions. So you know how many diabetics there are in the country? You know how many people are smokers who have overweight, who have heart conditions, cancer, right? So what if you could actually generate leads from people who have health conditions and they don't think they can get life insurance? So there's going to be more to that coming on, but I want to kind of share with you this little tidbit that I found. And I did it in my area, right? So I'm up here in the boonies of Minnesota, and I just picked how many seniors are there between ages 60 and 75 in my zip code. Now, they also own a house, and they also did not subscribe to the do not call list, which means I have, now it's kind of cool, at the time I ran it was 875, okay, 875 clients who I can call up. I can send them a postcard. So if it's that 875 is $206, right? $206. So you take $206 divided by 875, that's 25 cents for a person who's in that age group. Now with Sitka, you could go to zero. You can go whatever. So again, we're here to help you write business. And we know we don't demand you write your business through us, but you buy the BPP program, you run our quote, write one of our carriers, you're going to get a bonus to do so. So how does that look? So just something I want to say. You could buy business lists, consumer lists, all over the place. So again, just to give you an idea, here's the criteria that I used. So notice it dropped a person. It was 870 something, wasn't it? I can't remember now. So now you could just hit the price for 824 leads. And there's a $206, that's for calling, or $230 for a complete list. So here you get the name, address, contact detail, housing information, phone number. Now you can, for $25 more, you can get their income, their head of household, donor, cat, dog owner, call, hey, Mr. So-and-so, do you have a cat or a dog? I see you're a dog lover. So anyhow, that's building that relationship. Okay, thank you for attending. What happens next? Visionary will send you an email to, if you haven't already, request contracting. And then within a few days, actually it's immediate now. So as soon as you request a contract and we put that information into Circon, you're going to get an email from do-not-reply@circon.com and you're ready to go. So if you have any questions whatsoever, right? And I'm going to look in a minute to see if we have anybody who's asked questions. I do have a few. Send an email to sales@visionaryinsurance.life. Okay. You could call us toll free. You could talk to Fred Tidbit Taberry. He's our national sales director. Amara Hoskins, maybe some of you recently have worked with her, or myself, or Jessica Lopez, who is the brains and beauty of Visionary Inc. Right, Fred? All right. I think that is about it. Question, what carriers are included in the quotes for Best Plan Pro? Travis, I will send you that list. Now, I hope you enjoyed today's webinar. We do look forward to working with you. We're here to help, right? We are a marketing company. I love insurance. It is probably one of the most fulfilling businesses you could ever be in, especially if you've ever delivered a death claim. Anyhow, thank you. We don't have a whole lot of questions. I must have done a great job. Fred, remember that. So again, Travis, I will send you a list of the carriers that we do include for Best Plan Pro, along with the top commissions that you can get, plus the bonus that we pay on top of that. All right, thank you very much for attending. Look forward to doing business with you. God bless and good selling.